Welcome to Syntax. Welcome to a brand new episode of the Front End Happy Hour podcast.
Welcome to this week's JS party.
Live from Shipshape Studios, this is Whiskey, Web, and Whatnot, with your hosts, Robbie the Wagner and me, Charles William Carpenter III.
That's right, Charles. We drink whiskey and talk about web development. I mean, it's all in the name. It's not that deep.
This is Whiskey, Web, and Whatnot. Do not adjust your set.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to another edition of Men Growing Beards. It is the season for your favorite podcast. And my dogs have decided right now is the time to assault each other under my chair.
That's as requested, I think. Welcome, everyone. And I'm not growing a beard, though, so we just started out with two truths and a lie, and that was the lie, which is I just shaved today, in fact. Whoa. Well, Robbie's fallen asleep. If you're only hearing this in audio, he is fallen asleep. He's getting older, but,
yes,
mostly
I have a real problem with sleep. I'm excited the new Apple Watches will do sleep apnea diagnoses, so hopefully I can see what's going on.
I am here for their nice leap into medical assistance devices. I mean,
they need to be FSA eligible though.
So wait, that's not just a software update. Is it a hardware update or?
It only works on the 9 and 10. Whether that means they have special hardware that enables it or they're just being jerks, I'm not sure.
Do you have sleep apnea?
I don't know. I went to get a sleep study done, and you're supposed to sleep, right? During a sleep study. I didn't sleep because the pressure was on telling me to sleep, and so then I couldn't sleep. So I was I know there's going to be inconclusive results. So I didn't sleep any, so I'm not even going to go get the results.
Yeah,
so,
and you can't have any drinks or anything too. They want you to be in a completely natural state. No gummies for you.
And you
Robbie.
can't have the TV on. I had the TV on, which got my brain to stop going, and I went to sleep. And they're like, "Nope, you got to turn the TV off and get ready for bed and do it the right way." And I'm like, "Oh God." So,
this is the right way. Can you just study this and fix that, whatever it is? Yeah. Yeah, those are kind of annoying. I did that and ended up not having sleep apnea and going down a long, windy path of never really solving it. But I had a surgery and all kinds of stuff. So that's fun. My airways were getting blocked from living with cats and being very allergic to them. So that's a fun little path.
I live with dogs and I'm very allergic to them.
Yeah.
But you know what I'm not allergic to?
Gin. Whoa, there it is. Oh, you even snapped the cap. That's
oh no.
Robbie, on this show, we typically recommend that you open the bottle first. This one shouldn't be tricky. So it comes with this cool... Yeah, it comes with this, shot glassy measuring device.
Are we supposed to drink it out of that?
You could. I don't think I'm gonna. But I guess you could. Say you were camping or something. And that's how I envisioned it. I was
I'm camping, and I had room for the big bottle of whiskey, but not a tiny glass.
Not for a glass. Well, this episode is brought to you by Aged and Ore, which they have this fun travel kit that I typically will use. So it's got a nice little container. It's got this Glencairn glass. It's got a little jar for your brown that you can put in there, and then you just tuck that in. So that's a fun travel one. And that'd be great for camping. You can get a nice whatever. I will use the measuring thing just to see. By the way, we're having Stranahan's Second Chance Single Barrel Single Malt Colorado Whiskey. It is a prime barrel pick, so it is cask strength as well, and it is 114.16 proof. So this is kind of a strong one.
Wait, what was that? 114.16.
Yeah, isn't that fun?
God, it's so specific.
Yeah, that's what I was like. Wow, that's an extra decimal place that I might have rounded up or down or whatever.
Yeah,
just left.
I
off
need
altogether.
More decimal places.
Yeah, I
want to know the next 8 most significant digits.
5, 7, 8, 4, 2, blah blah blah. So the mash bill is 100% malted barley. It is aged 4 years and 7 months. So this is it's nice, very specific one. and we'll just get to it, I guess. You know, this is
Yeah.
what we do. This is how we do it. Ba-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. This is what you get in the live feed. So you're welcome. Do a little more music interpretation.
Smells like malted barley.
I actually get a little more of like peanut brittle.
Oh,
Yeah.
maybe I just filled mine too much, but it smells kind of like you cut down a field of wheat and like it got a little mildewy before you like brought it in to dry.
Yeah.
Like,
And then you call that process malting.
yeah.
What is malting, you know?
Malting is where you sprout the seeds before you use them.
Excellent. Good. You paid attention in one of those tours. I didn't.
Well, it's because I was going to make my own whiskey. And so I learned about some things and then never did that.
And don't worry, federal government, he has not proceeded with that process, much to my chagrin and encouragement to the contrary. He doesn't want to go to prison or something. I don't know, stupid. I
got
wouldn't
other
last
things
in
to worry
prison.
about.
You know, you would not. Yeah. You'd be a
I hear the
beautiful
boba
bare
selection in prison is very low.
The what?
The boba selection in
Yeah.
prison is very scarce.
You like that stuff? Boba?
Yeah.
The
Oh,
little,
yeah.
ugh,
Not the
tapioca balls?
not the legit ones.
Oh.
I like the I'm a child ones that are like a little thing of strawberry juice wrapped in like plastic or something instead.
Huh.
I don't know how they stay like they don't pop, but like those are the ones I like.
I'm not familiar with that. And you,
I'll-
do you get
I'll show
these
you.
at,
When you
like,
come out,
Asian
we'll
tea
get some
places?
boba. Yeah.
Okay.
Mhm.
Yes. All right. I will try that, and then I would maybe try to introduce that to my children. I'm not going to bother with the ones I don't even like. But back on the whiskey,
Yeah.
this has like, you know, those Whopper candies. So maybe this is on the malt.
Just because it has the word malt.
Malt in it, right? Yeah. It kind of has a little
Yeah.
bit of like chocolate nutty maltiness. In
Yeah.
it.
When they said malted, they actually meant they used normal barley and then they just threw some malt powder in there.
Oh, there you go. Yeah. So it makes milkshakes good. Why not? Brings the boys to the yard. This has definitely got some spice to it, though. It's interesting for a malted whiskey. It's got,
I don't have anything that I've picked out as a note at all.
Nothing.
But
Yeah.
I'm just going to taste it and see.
Are you feeling okay? Perhaps the change of season not doing well for you?
There's a little bit of dried apricots.
Mm-hmm. Well, then this is delicious. This is an 8, then, obviously.
No, there is some kind of like citrusy.
Yeah, like finish to it. What do I want to say? And almost like an artificial, like if you had like
like peach
orange.
rings.
Yeah, peach rings, right? But those are pretty good, actually. But yeah, that's a thing where
Peach
like,
rings
the
are fire.
fake fruit. Yeah, the fake fruit. Those are my wife Sarah's, whom you know, but our one listener would just for clarity's sake, my wife Sarah's favorite. Oh, just hello to no one. Oh, that's weird.
I
for
was
you.
just saying hi.
Yeah, just in case. We're rambling on. Let's kind of get back to whiskey a little bit. So, dear listener, you already know this, but I feel like it's just a thing we have to do. We have a highly stringent rating scale from 0 to 8 tentacles. 0 being terrible, 4 middle of the road, 8 amazing, clear the shelves. And never go without a measuring thing again. This one might be hard to clear the shelves on, though, since it's a barrel pick and very limited. That said,
That's true.
Mr. Wagner, what do you think?
It's pretty good. For me, like 100% malted barley, I would expect to be kind of trash, but it's actually pretty yummy for that mash bill. It's very intense on the wood and like seems like it's been finished for a while. I don't know. I think it's powerful. I think it's good. Doesn't have any of the peat or crap you wouldn't want from a scotch. So,
Crap.
yeah. I'm going to
That's
say,
crap.
I'm going to give it a 6. Solid 6.
Yeah, there goes our Scottish listenership. So probably half of Europe as well. Potential sponsors removed. I mean, being honest doesn't pay. But anyway, all that is
Hey,
to
there
say-
are some scotches I like.
Yeah.
And if you want to send me one that doesn't suck, I'll give it an honest review.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, we're kind of like Top Gear Europe, not like Top Gear US. Like we are not swayed by sponsorship dollars.
Yeah.
We'll still cash that check, but yeah, so and I've had regular Stranahans. I don't recall like being blown away by it. I know it's somewhat popular in some circles, especially for like Colorado whiskeys, but I was like, meh. And I think it's not pricey, but it's on the higher end for like your middle of the road whiskeys. This one I think was only like $75 or something of that nature. So I'm always apt to pay more for like single barrels, cast strength things, whatever else that's a little more rarefied air, as they would say. Yeah, I find this tasty so far. I'm going to try it with some drops and see if that changes things. I'm really more of I'm not blown away, but for a single malt, American single malt, it's not bad. I don't know, I want to say 5.5. Not bad,
Okay.
worth having. Wouldn't say go out of your way for it.
Yeah. I haven't had a ton of American single malt, so
Yeah.
not a ton to compare it to, but yeah, nothing super bad to say about it.
Yeah, there's the Del Bach one here in Arizona, which is like probably the most popular Arizona distillery. They do some very interesting stuff, and I think their stuff is pretty good and unique. So I would maybe reach for that before this. It's a little smoother than this too. So this has got some bite on the back end, and I know it is higher proof. So we'll see if that changes once I put some water in there.
Yeah. I'm appreciating the hug today, though. It's a nice fall day. Got like 73 outside or something, like not hot anymore. So
Yeah.
I'm here for it. Got to drink up before I go play basketball later. So
Nice. Yeah, it's under 100 all week here. Yesterday was a bit cooler, but it's still like low 90s today. I think we're going to still hit 100 next week or something. But I am also appreciating
you chose
that.
to live there.
I did. I made a lot of choices that I have to second guess and potentially regret on the back end, and maybe we can talk about that later. But that said, yes, I did, because little people are hard, and that was a sacrifice for a little bit. But they're getting a little older now, so get the fuck out of here is what I think. Yeah. So what do you want to talk about now?
Yeah, before we jump into topics,
Yes.
I totally missed my first thing, which, anyone that's listening, check out Whiskey.fund. That's Whiskey.fund. Because sometimes when we say it, it sounds like we're saying .fun or like there's a D on the end. Fund.
Fun.
Like, go there. And then also for the like couple people that are hanging out with us right now, if you want some free tickets to All Things Open, you can check out, I probably shouldn't read this off because it'd be a nightmare to try to type all this. I'm just going to post it in the chat. So if anyone sees it and wants a free ticket, you can grab it. We'll post it elsewhere later. But
Okay.
anyone that's hanging out with us now gets to do it. So
Oh, that's kind of nice. Yeah. How many of those do we have?
5 tickets.
Yeah, good point. I saw that you put that at the top of the notes. I had no idea what it meant. And here we are. Although we do have an ad that runs that says, Whiskey.fund. And I'm hearing reports of hats, T-shirts, and something else
Yes.
corny.
We also have an ad about All Things Open, which we should maybe change to say, like, use this link. And because even when this is done, there's a 20% off one. I don't know if you read Todd's email at all yet.
I haven't yet.
So
no.
this is all news to you. But yes, he was like, here's 5 free tickets for whoever you want. And then here's unlimited 20% off tickets. So we'll share that for sure in the ad. Maybe we record another one of those.
Fair enough. I've got some time ahead of me. Maybe we do that.
Cool.
Technology is wonderful.
Yeah, tell us about the technology you've been working on most recently, Chuck.
Okay, yes. How have I spent? Well, I mean, where do I start? I want to talk a little bit about Shepherd.js. Shepherd, the cute
Are
character.
you mispronouncing intro.js?
Not unlike intro.js or driver.js. There are a few out there. I mean, and you've also worked on said library. In fact, before I did.
Many moons.
Many moons. So there was an experiment in my life, particularly over the last, 8 months or so, in trying to look at that library and take it from a developer-centric, code-configured JavaScript, like dumb JavaScript library, but very accessible, all of those things. Don't need to totally pitch that. But so was approached by a company to... The big experiment was this. Can a popular open source library become a successful SaaS company?
And the answer is It depends.
Well, it depends, 100%. Let's say that, right? But if you expect it to happen in 6 months, I'd say, because like you have to actually kind of start building a product and launch it. If you expect it to happen in 6 months or less, the answer is absolutely no. And make sure that you are very clear in expectations with those partners. What outcomes must happen before they are willing to fund it beyond that point. Yeah, I would say that more than anything. So, you and I have run an agency for a very long time. We have dabbled with internal R&D projects here and there, never went down the path of exploring it with Shepherd because I don't think we had enough conviction to build a WYSIWYG. But these partners approached and seemed to have the conviction to actually have a product roadmap, decide what's going to happen there, and then support it, fund it, work somehow or another on that. And I think some of those expectations were, and perhaps I didn't meet their expectations as well, or it just was the community itself. All that is
opinions.
Yeah, I welcome them.
So I think there's a lot of issues with this. One being, if you really want a thing to succeed, you need a lot more research, designs up front, game plans, not just like, let's throw money at it and hope it works. Then also, even if you just want to throw money at it, you need to throw more money at it. If you have enough money for one person full time and the rest of the team is not helping you out and they're just hoping that you're going to magically make them a pile of money, that's not great. Like, you need support from the whole team. Like, that's how these startups that make it, they have a whole team of people that's got equity, skin in the game, and they're all working as hard as they can to make as much money as they can. Okay, we need to spend a ton of money on like, our website needs to have like cool animations and be different than everyone else's website and make you feel important when you're using it. And like, it's not just another SaaS product designed in like Tailwind UI, which love Tailwind, no shade on that. Tailwind UI though, a lot of people use it. A lot of websites are starting to look the same. Yeah. So yeah, I think you really, really need like that it factor. Like, people have to think it's cool and then it will work. And I don't know how to like get that it factor or we would have piles of money. But I'm just saying, like, without a plan for that, there's pretty much no way you're going to succeed unless your product is like super, like fills an amazing need. Then you don't necessarily need all of that. Like, Supabase kind of has both things. Like, it fills a great need and they have great design and marketing and like all this stuff. I'm trying to think of something that like AWS console fills a need, doesn't look nice, but like you have to use it, right? So if it's kind of the only game in town and it's like dope, then it doesn't matter. But if you're one of 20 tour libraries that are pretty popular, and the only thing really going for Shepherd is that it's like the only one that has been free and open source the whole time and hasn't tried to make a product out of it, I think the people that star it and use it and love it because of that, and like aren't that into the community, aren't that into paying for it. They're just like, I want the free one because like
because I've been configuring it in code the whole time. Yeah. And that's the other thing too, is like, who are your customers? Like, our users are developers pretty much, and folks at least who can do enough to get these things going very basically. So perhaps they don't want a feature-rich option. That's why they're not paying for one. And differentiators there are pretty tough, which is why I kind of thought like, okay, a WYSIWYG is not table stakes because that's all over the place. What other things might start to work? Like, okay, you don't want to deploy to add steps. Okay, we'll kind of let you do that, but you're still doing it in code. It's not a full-on WYSIWYG. Analytics, because you want to know what's happening. That's the only reason why you put a tour in, usually to improve. You're fixing a problem. Oh, our app is complex. We have adoption issues. We have churn issues. Whatever else. You're usually using it to address a particular problem that you're aware of. So you should measure that that problem is happening, and then you want analytics to tell you whether this thing works or not. So that was like one attempt at it. But again, it was sort of like me of a year ago, never thinking about building a Shepherd app, speaking with this company and thinking, great, we're going to come at this as a team with consensus and all work hard on it. Like, sure, I'm going to do 100% of my time, perhaps. Are you going to do 30% of your time, 50% of your time? What is this? You're go-to-market experts. You must understand the marketplace, how to find fit, and all of those things. And that just kind of didn't turn out to be true. I think there was just expectations on both sides that weren't clear enough and some assumptions there. And the moral of this story is that Shepherd Pro, the SaaS application, goes away because it's not filling a need. People sign up, don't really use it. So no problems there. And we regress back to our roots and kind of what it was, which is it's an open source library that you can use for this purpose. And that seems to work. People are happy with that. We're happy with that.
Yeah. I mean, the test suite has been passing for many, many years now since I added it when there were no tests when we inherited it. So,
yeah, right. Exactly.
even through switching from Preact to Svelte, that's the power of test-driven development. Like, you have a good test suite, you can switch frameworks and all of your tests will still, there's some stuff you have to fix, but like if they all pass, you're like, probably fine to just switch it.
Yeah. In general, it's kind of like feature complete, in
Yeah.
many ways. I'm sure there are like little things we could continue to tweak, but for the most part, it's kind of feature complete. It's very accessible. That's great. We could probably take that some steps further using the dialogue, the actual like dialogue
I think
element.
we are using it, but like we're not using the modal one. It's a catch-22 because we want to cut a hole in an SVG
Yeah.
to like show what you're showing. The modal dialogue grays everything out, so you can't do that. So like you lose all the other stuff. I wonder if you could do the modal dialogue but not show the modal behind it, like get the focus trapping out of the box, not like delete a few lines of JavaScript we have for that.
Yeah.
And then still roll your own modal implementation. That would be cool if that's part of like the HTML spec for that. I don't know.
Yeah, I think that takes a little deeper diving into it. I've just played with that dialogue modal element a little bit and used it for very like straightforward reasons, not necessarily for attachment reasons. But isn't there like an attach API
that too?
There's
Yes.
that. So that would be cool. Let's use HTML for.
It doesn't work in like anything but Chrome right now, I think.
Yeah.
So you need a lot of polyfills.
Yeah.
Adam Argyle talks about it a lot, so he'll let us know when it's ready.
Exactly. Just stay tuned to him and his podcasts, and that's where you get real information anyway. Everywhere else.
Yeah. If you're bad at CSS, you can listen to Bad at CSS. If you are good at CSS, you can listen to the CSS podcast.
Just straight up CSS podcast. Yes. Right from the source. Yeah. So like little things like that, I guess, could be a thing, but it is kind of on its own, kind of feature complete. We are planning to also simplify. We have a number of like wrapper libraries, like a React one and Vue and Angular and everything else. And like none of these frameworks really add enough sugar-wise that kind of makes it worth it to maintain. So we're going to switch that to recipes. I think recipes and tutorials and everything else is kind of like the way forward around that particular library. I did think about like, wouldn't it be cool if you were building a Shepherd tour and you could use like a Chrome extension to like do a couple of things and it would do all the configuration for you. Like it might take out some of the guesswork around like it would kind of show you a little preview of what you're selecting and all of that. Anyway, I don't know.
Yeah.
That's like
It's
one
totally
fun
doable.
thing. Yeah.
Before we changed everything, there was like a Cloudflare app that did some WYSIWYG stuff.
Oh, right. And they got rid of Cloudflare apps or something weird.
They did, I think. I think you can still go to it and like do some stuff, but most things break. So it's hard to see like, what did this do before and like try to replicate how it worked because it just doesn't work. But yeah, I mean, I think there's probably some demand for that, but like, I think most of our users are JavaScript developers and they're fine to configure it in the app. And then you have full control over it too, instead of like, I have this give and take and we haven't fully removed it from the API, but it's like there's an advance on thing that everyone loves to use. And it's like advance on a click on this other element or whatever. And so you can be like, all right, well, I clicked this other element and like I have some bug with advance on. I'm like, dog, use tour.next. Good. Like you don't need to ever advance on. Just when you know the thing has happened, just call tour.next. Like, so I want to kind of remove that, but I haven't because it's not causing a ton of problems. So it's just kind of like
it's just every time it bubbles up, like once every couple of years or something.
Yeah.
Somebody's using it in a way that's like, that's there, but that might not be the best way. And that depends. Yeah. And that's sort of the point, right? It has a very good open API. It's dumb, And all of these logic things that you want for like the state and what your users have done and all of that is really the job of your app. And it's not the job of Shepherd to know things about your users in order to show or not. And I think that was another thing I struggled with. Like, okay, if we're going to like integrate into analytics and stuff like that, then what are cohorts or groupings or whatever else? And should we have some of that logic that gets captured and starts to like make decisions on what you see and when and all of that? And I was like conflicted on that because for the longest time, and now I'm not conflicted at all because like, fuck it. All of that logic should be in your application, and this extra thing shouldn't be another place that you're paying a monthly fee in order for it to decide, to show a tour. What tour? Does it have 4 steps or 8 steps or whatever else?
Yeah.
That's all up to you because the API is exposed to let you do those things. You make it smart. You could make it to where like you get all of your tour configuration from your API and it's localized based on that, and everything else is like, that's the place for that shit.
Yeah, and if you're not doing it yourself in your app, you're losing a lot of control. Like we get a lot of questions about, okay, I have a single page application. I want to change routes and then like have the tour start back up or whatever. Yeah. And I'm like, have you considered just making 2 tours?
Yes.
The logic we would need to do to support everyone's bespoke single page app like setup, instead of you just controlling the tour when you want and having as many tours as you want and advancing them and previewing them, like advancing, and what is the opposite of advancing?
Backtracking? I don't know.
Yeah, controlling that whenever you want versus like trying to rely on advance on or like trying to have us build in all the logic to like, all right, well, when you switch routes in your Angular 2 application, we need it to like restart. Like, it's much easier if you just have full control.
Yeah. The good one that I do like is before show promise. If you have like weird things loading in at different times. Before show promise.
Before show promise was what I added first. It was in CoffeeScript still. We didn't have it at all. And I was like, hey, having no way to decide when this should show sucks. Like, can we add this? Just throw whatever promise you want in it and you decide when the promise resolves. And then it's good. Like, my boss at the time was like, oh, I can't believe they accepted your PR for that. Like this library with all these stars. I'm like, you trying to say I'm not good? Like, what do you?
That's your constant struggle for whatever reason. And I've worked with you for a long time, so I don't really understand where this comes from. But a lot of people try to convince you you're not good.
The problem that I do have is a perception issue because I have a little bit of abrasiveness or like maybe arrogance. It's maybe not quite the right word, but like it's just like it makes people not love what I'm doing, and so they want to find a way to tear it down and like say, hey, this guy's not good and we shouldn't promote him because I don't like him, and like arbitrary bullshit where I'm shipping like, all of the code. And or like if the argument is you're shipping too much code, okay, well then I just helped 5 other engineers ship all of the code. They're still like, oh, you're not doing shit. Yeah, like, okay, whatever.
Like what you're doing. So here's the thing: if you were like a kid right now, I think that you would be on the spectrum.
Yes, no, I totally agree with that. And
but, what does that even mean? I'm no doctor, but
I don't know how adults get tested for that. And even then, it doesn't matter because then if you just wave around, hey, I've got like some amount of ADHD and or autism or whatever, and then like that doesn't get you anywhere. Right. Everyone's like, oh, cool. Medicated. Like I guess we're supposed to accommodate him because of that, but like we're not going to do anything different. We don't like that guy, so like you're kind of fucked.
Yeah. But then it maybe gives you the sympathy card up or some sort of like consideration. I don't know. I agree with that too.
Not
though.
At Amazon, it doesn't.
Yeah. Well, definitely not at Amazon.
Yeah, at some companies maybe, but
well. To put a bow on that story is we're going back to developers. That's who matters. And careful
not
who you
managers,
trust.
If you ask Amazon.
Careful who you trust. Good people with, I don't want to like totally shit, like good people, good intentions. Wasn't their wheelhouse, like just get things in writing and have clearer expectations, I think. So lessons learned.
Yeah.
This just in, Whiskey.fund is now open for all your merch needs. That's right, Robbie. We're hearing reports of hats, sweaters, and t-shirts, as well as a link to join our Discord server. What's a Discord server? Just read the prompter, man. Hit subscribe, leave us a review on your favorite podcast app, and tell your friends about our broadcast. It really does help us reach more people and keeps the show growing. All right, back to your regularly scheduled programming.
We're all learning and we're all making mistakes and we all have no fucking idea. Like, I think that is one of the big lies of humanity in general. Until you're maybe like 18, you're like, wow, adults like really know what they're doing. Like, all my teachers are so smart and like everyone has these jobs and they go there every day. And then like everyone is like, oh my God, I don't know how to do my job. I'm going to figure it out today. Like,
Yeah. And then like the next day, they're sort of like, I don't know how I got through yesterday. I'm going to try that again today to see what happens. Yeah, that is a funny thing because I can remember younger and working with, just in college or whatever, working with adults in their 30s and 40s. And I was just like, wow, at that point, different times, I would be like, you've made it through all this life. But in some ways, we're the same. Like, what? That's weird. And then you reach that point and you're like, man, we all are just living a story. We tell ourselves a story and you believe it more and more as you get older, but it's not that different.
Nope. Yeah, I mean, the scary part of that is like surgeons. Like,
Holy shit.
Hey, cool. Yeah, I've done like one surgery and I think I know how to do this one. I've done a lot of theoretical surgeries. But
I read a lot of books. I practiced surgery on you remember that surgery game that was on what were those things? The Nintendo
Operation?
DX? Yeah,
no, there was like
Operation.
a real one. Yeah.
And then there was a game where you did surgeries, which is actually kind of cool. But it was all like
I never played that.
or whatever. It was like a Nintendo DX game. I really liked that one. It was one of my iterations of gaming. But I don't remember what it was called, something surgeon or whatever. But it was kind of fun because it was a touchscreen thing and you had to really get it right. Or you would hurt someone or cut, and it would be harder and harder surgeries through the...
I could never do Operation. I would always hit the side.
Yeah, I was decent at that. So anyway, all that is to say, I'm also very happy, though, that at the end of the day, through all of our business ventures, we've managed to hold on to our branding. We've entertained all kinds of different options, and there were times where, this could be sold, that could be sold, and whatever else, and goes away, and then, shit doesn't work out, and we lost all of the assets. I like our branding across things, and I'm glad we get to keep it. So if anybody wants to buy Whiskey Web and whatnot, just bear in mind, we're keeping that fucking logo.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's maybe one thing we've done well. Swag, merch, logos, persona for various shit. We can do that. We can't necessarily make that shit popular, but we can make it look fucking dope. That's
Yeah. Well, I think a lot of it is timing. So I harken back to just not that long ago, a Big Sky Dev Conf in Montana, basically HTMX Conf, and Carson. Yeah, same thing. Carson was talking about that, where, timing is also sometimes a big part of things, where if you're persistent long enough and then that opportunity comes up during that persistence. I've actually heard this too in other things, like a podcast or whatever, and comedians talking about how was that person more famous than you and you're funnier and blah, 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 But the fact that they're just putting their stuff out there and the right thing hits at the right time. And that's kind of what it is. So,
yeah. And if you're consistent, our show has a fairly consistent vibe. So if one episode were to get, 100 million listens or something, then people would be like, I should check out the rest of the episodes. I think you get a lot of that. If everything you put out is consistent and good quality, then people will listen through your back catalog once you blow up. And that just perpetuates the more and more listeners.
You have that gateway, whatever the gateway was for you two listeners, whatever the gateway was, if you go back through the okay, I want more of this now. Great. And you start to get more of it. That's a very good point.
Yeah.
So tell me about your commute.
God. Oh, man. Yeah. So let's see. Today is Wednesday. I guess this was Monday. Chuck sends me a thing that's Amazon mandates 5 days a week. And I work there and hadn't heard about it.
I was going to say, I love that I broke that news to you because it was starting to blow up everywhere.
I was like, wait, maybe someone was engagement farming. This isn't actually happening. They were just fake news story. And then I looked around the channels on Slack at Amazon and like it was real. So they're like, yeah, they told CNBC before they told anyone internal to Amazon.
That's
like,
crazy.
what the fuck? Like, I don't care, who you think you are about what's right and wrong with RTO and whatever. You tell your employees a major announcement before you tell the general public.
Yeah, that's the right thing to do. Even if it's like it's coming out today at noon, you have like a 9 a.m. all hands and deliver that information. Like you can defer it, but not at all. It's really fucked up. But I mean, that kind of seems to be the status quo there. Like they're just so big.
Really
they're too big. They're too big to fail, right? And they're putting out like, I feel like Amazon's site, even like in spite of the conveniences it brings, has become like fucked up in various ways. There's like all these third-party resellers on there all the time, so you never really understand. And a bunch of them are basically like taking Temu and then like reselling that at a more expensive price.
Yes. I respect the game, but it's very annoying if you want to buy anything consumable. Not even just for you, like any supplements, any dog foods, any anything that could have bad shit in it is likely to have bad shit in it if you order it from Amazon. I got this supplement. I may have told this story on the podcast before, but I used to like not be a fat piece of shit, and I would like do some workouts. And so I had this.
When was this? I don't believe it.
Well, it was in college, so I was younger, and I like had more stamina. I did the insanity workouts a bunch.
That's what she said.
So to power that, I took some supplements. One of them was like this thing that was just supposed to give you more energy. It kind of really wasn't specific about how it did it, but you took it and you were like, whoa, yeah, like hell yeah. I can like do so many workouts. And then a couple months later, I got an email from Amazon that's like, yeah, the FDA has analyzed the ingredients of this, and this is heart medicine. You should not take this.
Wow.
I was like, damn. So like, yeah, there's like a lot of that happening because they care more about making the money instantly and figuring out the consequences later.
Oh, of course, yes.
As
so
we
much
all
of life
would,
is like that.
at that scale, if you were like, listen, if we tested everything, it would cost us $10 million a day in like lost profits. We should just like figure it out later. I would probably also be like, you right, $10 million a day is a lot. Let's figure it out later. But like, as the not like corporate evil overlord, you're like, that's fucked up. You should like care about your consumer some more and like, but that's not the way.
Well,
like
it's food though. So I mean, that's the thing about supplements, which is really weird. I find it's strange that supplements are not regulated when they're still ingested, right? Like everything else we put in our bodies to a degree is like,
well, it's regulated in that your label is supposed to say what's in there,
right?
Unless it's a proprietary blend and you're trying to like hide, and that's the problem.
Happens all the time. That is the problem. There's tons of that. That's all over the place. And then, there's tons of stories of that of like, there was a long time ago. I also did like bodybuilding, like style training for years before I did like the CrossFit thing and whatever else. But like, and so the supplements that I would take they pride themselves in that they had them regulatory, like they did their self-regulation and, they had all these tests and certifications and stuff you could see on their site. And this was a long time ago.
But then if you order that from Amazon, there's no guarantee they didn't fake it and send you a thing that looked the same.
For sure. So that's the whole like container refill sort of scam of things where it's like, this is sold by Rad Sports, and Rad Sports dumped out the good shit, put in this other stuff, resealed it, and sent it to you that could happen. I mean, that's a problem in whiskey circles, like as whiskey prices have gone up and up, and people will buy old bottles, used bottles, empty bottles of Pappy were like all over eBay for a long time, actually, before they finally shut that down too. And that's what was happening, is they were buying all these bottles of Pappy, putting other stuff in there, resealing it, sell it for $1,000. So, and no one's the wiser because nobody gives a shit. But
yeah, and because it's not as good as you think, so it's hard to tell. You're just like, hey, this is supposed to be good. But anyway, yeah,
that's true. I don't know if I've ever had like a whiskey where I've been like, well, we're still talking about your return to office and how upset you are. So I do think it is related to that. And I was just talking about like holistically, overall, like for me, my experience with Amazon has been kind of strange and janky and then gets more expensive. Like Amazon Prime was the greatest thing ever when I lived in the city and I was ordering stuff all the time. And it was like, well, yeah, it totally makes sense for free shipping and it actually comes quick and everything else. Now it's like higher price. The shipping times are a bit longer than they were. And yeah, I guess it's technically free unless I want to pay to get it faster now per shipment. And
well, the problem they've hit is they don't price match easily anymore. Because that used to be the thing, is like I can order it and have it like later today, and then I can care about whether it was the best price later. Because if I see like, oh shit, this is $100 cheaper over here, then I would just message them and be like, you right, and refund you the money.
Yep.
But now they're like, ooh, yeah, there's all this red tape and like you can't get like, and I'm like, well, I'll just send it back then and then buy it again. Like, what the fuck? But they're just like not as accommodating as they used to be. So I don't know where I was going with that, but
the customer service has changed. Everything's kind of changed. And they have a lot of people locked in for convenience. I mean, I think it's like, it's much of like why Walmart is popular, because it's cheap and convenient, right? It's not necessarily better in any way. When you go there, it's a lot of like really shitty, janky stuff. But everything.
Well, they have a good online marketplace, like very similar to Amazon.
Yeah, I've seen where it's similar because I've like tried to Google for things and then it would come up at Walmart, but then it would be like Walmart.com, but sold by someone else. And there's this whole like secondary marketplace there.
Yep. It's basically exactly the same as the way Amazon operates. And like they have similar subscriptions where you can like, you know, get free shipping, quick shipping. You can get them to like, you know, leave it right in your garage, just like you can at Amazon. Like,
I pulled that back. I was like, it sounds good in theory, but I don't really have a problem with like porch theft. And
I like the option if you're like, I mean, I guess it doesn't matter.
Garage access.
Yeah.
Like
it doesn't matter for you because it's like super hot there. But, you know, for me, if I'm like, oh, it's going to be like really cold or really rainy or like, you know, there's a reason I want you to put it in the garage. I like having that option. But yeah, I have only chosen it like once or twice because there was something I really wanted to be in there. But otherwise, it also like restricts what day you can do it. Sometimes they want to charge you money for it. I'm just like, it's not worth like, just give it normal.
I think that's just a bunch of testing and whatever. What are you willing to pay for?
Yeah.
And if you become willing to pay for it as a Prime member, then they're going to start to like regress that from the membership.
Yeah.
I mean, I know that they give you, maybe if I used it more too, like I don't use Amazon Music, I don't store a thing, I don't use their cloud storage, I don't, a lot of things. So maybe that would make it more compelling. But Prime Video can be good, but it's very hit and miss. Like there's they had some really great like sports documentary things. I think it's like All or Nothing was a big one, and it's like a different team every season for soccer. I found that interesting. The Boys is on there, and I'm like into that.
Well, I have a conspiracy theory, not in the Prime media.
They've made superheroes.
Aspect.
They're bought. Actually, that's the thing.
I don't know what you're saying. Anyway, I'm going to continue what I was saying. So my theory is that all of their products, like cloud storage or music or whatever, like are intentionally not that great, so that you will use someone else who's done a great job and is then hosting all their shit on AWS.
Yeah, right.
So it's like if they were the end all be all of everything, then no one else would use AWS and they would lose tons of money. Yeah. So there's like there's some incentive to not to like, you know, still ship a lot of stuff, make it pretty good, but not be the best, so that people will have an alternative that still makes them honestly probably more money than the like $10 a month for whatever, you know?
I think, I'm going to pull this thread a little bit, and there's like kind of twofold on it. Yeah, one is I've always understood that AWS has very thin margins, right? Like they aren't charging you out the ass. They are just offering a lot of products that are a byproduct of what they use internally. They need that infrastructure and then decided we can resell some of this. That's okay. So we want IT professionals across the world to help us maintain this infrastructure. So the margins are small. So they're not incentivized to build a better console or whatever, like make it a great customer experience that's user-friendly and whatever else. Because they also have the whole like you become certified in using their proprietary shit, which is very funny too.
Yeah.
Interesting things there, that's a whole like facet of their business. So that's why other companies can more easily like build on top of, add their own margin. Hey, they're great consultants in that sense. Add their own margin. Vercel makes access and usage of AWS more user-friendly to the developer community. Not terrible, right? Like whatever.
Yeah.
So that's one facet of it that I've understood, is that the margins are fine. So they're not incentivized to like get more people to directly use it per se.
Yep.
Now, but they want companies to build a business on top of it. That'd be great. And then coming back to your whole discussion about like return to office and some of your complaints there, I saw this like post the other day, and someone who I guess is a recent employee of Amazon, and is like, all of this is a well thought out plan that is multi-step, because during a pandemic there was money, and prior to that there was money scaling up, and it was like a tax advantage to be in a particular way, and now the tax advantage is somewhere else. And they spin it as it's good for culture and blah, 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 blah. We're more startup-y, and we're going to do all these things that kind of either are layoffs, or we try to push towards layoff, like push towards people quitting, because the quitting is cheaper than layoffs. And
Make no mistake, that is the goal. They want everyone to quit, because if they fire people, it's a multi-tiered system. If you're doing everything right and they want to fire you, you got to get pipped first. Then you have like 6 months or however many months to improve that and like show you're doing better. And somewhere during that process, if they realize you're not doing better, they'll try to like offer you more money to like just get the fuck out. We don't want you here. Like, here's money to leave. All of this costs them a lot of money to ultimately then have to pay your unemployment or severance or whatever at the end. And they don't want that. They want you to just leave voluntarily. And so if they can make it as hard for you as possible, then you're much more likely to just do that. I understand how that would work. And I understand the pressure, like being a CEO and having your board members who are like, look, I've only got $3 billion. I would like to have 4.
Yeah, exactly.
So like, can you make that happen? How can you do that? Well, we can get everyone to quit, and that'll make us tons more money. Cause like, you know, Amazon salaries are high. If you get, I don't know, 10,000 people to quit of your 1.5 million employees, and they're all senior plus engineers, you just made, I don't know, $500 million, whatever. Like, and it's like, shit. All right, cool. Well, let's like, good job, team. We'll each take 10 million of that and let's go our separate ways. Like,
exactly.
And that, like, I can understand how that like board meeting would go. I hate that that's a thing though. Like, I think there should be some sort of wealth cap. Like, you should be able to be wealthy as fuck, but then you should be capped at that. Like, if you've got $100 million, you just don't make any more money.
That's not the American way, though. That's not capitalism.
But like, what do you need?
That's
like, there, you can buy everything.
Like,
is there anything you can't buy for like $50 million?
The former president used to grab people by the pussy. Like, there's just a different...
What do you mean used to?
I mean, he looks pretty old. He's just grabbing a golf club these days or whatever else. I don't know. I don't care. I don't care about his sexual habits. Like, good for you. But I'm just saying that, like, the moral standards and good for the community and the global economy has changed in massive ways, and that's just not how it works.
Yeah, there's no morals. There's no morals.
No. If you
like,
could,
that's one of the big advice things is like, if you can just not care about any other humans, you can probably make a lot more money. Like, you can screw over people left and right and win the game and then retire early. But
unless
like, is that worth it?
Don't fuck kids. Don't fuck kids. Don't fuck dogs. Like, don't do those things for money. Okay?
No, I think
there's the level, I think.
I think like you should try to be, you know, morally correct on every front. I don't think there's, I don't know. I mean, I guess everyone has their price. If someone was like, here's $1 billion to like fuck over 10 other people. No. No. I'm saying like, if you would,
there are,
you know, for the moral gray area, if it's like, listen, you know, here's $10 billion, like an insane amount of money, never work again. All my friends never work again. All my family never works again.
Yeah.
And you just like have to make these 100 people's lives terrible. They're all going to be like unemployed, sell their houses. Well, I don't know them. Maybe I say yes because I don't know them. And like, it's a get out of everything right now free card for me. But like, there needs to be some kind of laws around that, or there needs to be a software engineers union. Like,
well, I think the latter is more likely and possible.
Yeah.
I think especially like this current job market and whatever else, there's just so many layers to unpeel there about different things that you said.
Yeah.
So I think exactly what you're talking about, which is generational wealth, has happened, will continue to happen in futures. That does exist. Somebody gets opportunities to change their life and their family's life and whatever else. And sometimes they definitely fuck people over to get there along the way. Now, you're not just Joe Schmo walking down the street. Somebody stops you and is like, $10 billion, just go fuck over a bunch of people in that building over there. Like, it doesn't quite happen that way. But it definitely is like when your path crosses that opportunity and that you see that downside, people definitely make that choice. Families that kind of founded this country to a degree did some of that, right? You've got these generational old money, whatever wealth. They were like kind of wealthy people in Europe who came over and created an opportunity from nothing. You think that like that didn't fuck over like communities of people? It absolutely did, because you had like classism isn't something that was just invented recently in, this last decade.
Sure.
Like that's been around. So Rockefellers and whatever else like fucked over people to get that kind of generational wealth. And that just, to me, speaks to like, it's basically the capitalist version of like the aristocrats or whatever, right? Like, that was, ordained by God into birth. People became kings and made dukes and whatever else. That's all bullshit. That's just that was the medicine to keep it down, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah. Don't question this. You like God, right? Well, God said that guy's your leader, so make sure he's good to go forever. And he might, ensure that you have a terrible life the rest of the time, but since you love God, you'll make that happen. And, whatever, in many other ways. So you're going some weird paths on this one, but that happens. So if you put yourself in a place, listen, let's be honest here. If somebody was like, listen, Robbie, we're going to give you $5 million. Just got to fuck over Chuck. Like, just fuck him over. Like, we want all the shipshape Shepherd things, everything else. We want it all. And we just want you. Because I'll tell you what, I will do it to you. If somebody gave me $5 million, I'm going to find a way to sign it up. I like you.
But there's
I like
always
working
the option of you do that, and then I give you a couple million. Like,
okay. Yeah.
Know, I think if there was any amount of goodwill in any of these,
I would probably do that too.
Then it would like be fine. Like if Andy Jassy were like, look, everyone's coming to the office 5 days a week. We realize that fucking blows. Here's an extra $200 a week for your commute expenses. I'd be like, cool, bro. Like,
I don't
you
love
understand.
it, but thank you. Yeah, like that you're changing my life.
Yeah,
especially the life of a young family.
It is the opposite because they own the building, so they could give us free parking, but we pay for parking to come in there every single day.
Nah, fuck
and
that.
And I get the reasoning because they would go, look, we have 1.5 million employees. If you gave everyone free parking, we would lose $100 million a year.
Don't give everyone free parking. How about just at this fucking place that you make people go into?
I know. Like, I'm just saying, like, I get the why behind all of it because there's some board meeting where they're like, no, we can't do that. That's so much money.
Yeah.
But like, grow a pair and like care about a human at once in your life. Like,
yeah. And capitalism has grown to a degree where there is no consideration of, because either the stock market and fiduciary responsibility, which is something they always fall back into, like a CEO's job is not to make your life better or care about what they do for you. It's to make more shareholder value. That's it. And that's all they give a fuck about.
And all they actually care about is the board, not the shareholders.
Exactly. They don't care about employees. They care about the board, who in turn cares about the shareholders, who in turn cares about the cash flow coming in and the value.
Yeah.
So,
well, this got really heavy and we've gone pretty long on this. Good news for today, interest rate cuts.
Yes.
Yeah.
How many points was it?
I don't know. You didn't see? I didn't see either.
I didn't either. No, I was doing other things. I had to quickly eat a Cane's, to my chagrin, a Cane's chicken sandwich and then run a few errands before we did this. So
half point. Hell yeah. All right. So I was listening to Bloomberg Radio yesterday because I'm an old man. They were like, yeah, if they cut it more than 0.25 points, they're just signaling that like they know something we don't, and the economy is terrible and jobs are terrible, and like there's a reason to make this really high. So we think it's going to be 0.25. So maybe there's bad news around the corner, but like,
yeah, maybe.
I'm here for the please cut it a lot and let me refinance my house so I can stop being fucking poor.
Unemployment has to be pretty big. There's been constant layoffs for like over a year.
It's gotten to like 4.5% now, I think.
Yeah.
It's like, it's not terrible, but that's a lot of people, you know, based on however many people live here now. I don't even know. Like, it's not great. And I think that the solution is not to have more people unemployed. I don't understand why that's always our solution.
I
It's
keep
like, let's
trying
just
to
make
be
it hard
unemployed,
for everyone.
apparently. I quit a job. I don't have whatever consultancy money and got my project defunded. So, you know, I'm really trying to be poor. I don't know.
Well, let's look on the bright side. We have a full reset. We can do whatever
Yeah.
now.
Can, will, are doing. Yes,
Yeah.
we're doing what we feel is best, leading the charge. And I don't know. Let's just see what can developers do. How about
Yeah.
that? We can go to market, not feel weird, not be forced into a product hunt launch and other things.
Yeah. I don't know. With our last few minutes here, though, I want to
Yep.
talk about what's the Halloween plan? You got a family costume this year?
Yes, we always do, unfortunately, because I really don't want to, but hopefully we are winding up. I mean, when you have like babies, it's kind of cute because like you dress the baby up as something, and of course, like you're holding them or whatever. Even like toddlers, it's sort of like you're involved because like they can't navigate any part of the world on their own. So you're a part of the costume in that sense. But the last couple of years, I've been like, really? Again? Like, my kids are 5 and 8. Like, they don't care, and they want to do their own thing. And so, I don't know. But Sarah's holding it together for as long as possible. The latest obsession is Harry Potter. Actually, my son's been reading the books and 20 million every other thing that is Harry Potter. So I'm Voldemort. He's obviously Harry Potter. This is a story that has bored Robbie out of his mind.
No, sorry. My dogs have been insane. They're usually upstairs with Caitlin, but
Yeah.
they're down here with me right now. So
But she's like,
one's just
"Oh,
whining at me.
I don't care," and let them. But are you gonna drink? Fuck that. So yeah,
So you're going to be like, "Brother, Harry Potter," or like,
Harry
fighting as
I haven't really
as
watched the
Voldemort.
movies. I
You
mean, I
have to,
kind of
like-
watch them with the kids, but like as my son finishes a book, then we watch the movie. So I guess we're only like to the third one, so there's not a lot of Voldemort.
Yeah,
quite
we have a
yet,
similar
so.
system where Caitlin is reading the books, and then I watch the movie with her when she finishes.
Perfect. Yeah, that's basically the same thing. It's good that she's working on her reading. We know there's no hope for you. Yeah, so family thing, I'll be rushing back from All Things Open in order to participate because I don't want to be divorced. How about you?
We've been asking Finn, and he's never consistent. So the one thing that is consistent is he will be an anglerfish. And whether the rest of us are sea creatures or Mickey Mouse characters is up in the air.
Okay.
He's like, I want to be an anglerfish, and I want you to be Mickey and Mama to be Daisy. And I'm like, those
That's
don't
not the couple.
go together. But like,
I mean, maybe they do in a progressive Disney world where like
there's an anglerfish that's like
yeah,
happy.
They want to date outside of their species, and
No, I
you
don't
know,
mean
like,
those two. I mean like the anglerfish doesn't go with the
Oh
Mickey
yeah,
Mouse
like
Clubhouse
that's not
theme.
at all. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like not the fact that they're not characters that are actually together, but yeah,
Yeah, no, that I don't care about. Like, we could be any characters, all from Mickey Mouse Clubhouse or all
Yeah.
from like the ocean. Like, we could
Come
all
inside,
be
it's fun
sea
inside.
creatures. I know. Yes,
Yeah, I've had that.
I'm aware.
Many of
We've
us.
heard the song many times.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's it. He gets to watch that on trips.
Gorsh. That'll be goofy. Anyway,
I know that's my go-to as well.
yeah,
He's like, I think Dada is goofy, and I'm like, gosh.
nice, exactly. And Goofy's like the best character because it's not really clear
Yeah.
what he is. It's like he looks like a dog.
Is he
but
a
Pluto's
dog?
the dog.
Maybe,
like, what the
but
fuck is he?
yeah. Why does
That's what
Pluto
happens
not
when you
talk?
fuck dogs.
Yeah.
This is it. The moral of the story is don't fuck dogs. You end up with Goofy.
Okay, that's a good note to end on. I think. Oh yeah, thanks
Wait
to
to
the
put this
people
on
that
Twitter.
hung with us for a bit. Reminder to check out Whiskey.fund. We've got memberships there where you can join our Discord. You can get discounts on merch proportional to your membership tier. It doesn't really say that on the memberships, but like bronze is a lower percentage off than the diamond. Like, you'll figure it out if you try to buy one. But you know, hang out with us there, buy some merch, support us, come to All Things Open, use the link to get free tickets if you were hanging out and saw that. We'll be posting the 20% off one as well, and we'll be doing a lot of live episodes there, hanging out, maybe have some exclusive stickers and shirts and things for folks if you want to come get one and just say hi.
Have a flask of the brown or
yeah.
other libations. We'll
Yeah,
see.
Chuck will order a flask of whatever it comes with from Amazon, and we'll just all drink it. And
Formaldehyde. This is how I stay so young.
yeah. Anyway, and anything else you want to say before we end, Chuck?
Bumblebee tuna.
All right.
You've been watching Whiskey, Web, and Whatnot, recorded in front of a live studio audience.
What the fuck are you talking about, Chuck?
Enjoyed the show? Subscribe.
You know people don't pay attention to these, right?
Head to Whiskey.fund for merch and to join our Discord server.
I'm serious. It's like 2% of people who actually click these links.
And don't forget to leave us a 5-star review and tell your friends about the show.
All right, dude, I'm out of here.
Still got it.